It's a very contagious viral illness, and it's spread by coughs and by sneezes. And if you're not up to date, if you aren't vaccinated, it's very likely if you're in the proximity of somebody with measles, you could get it.
A case of measles is often accompanied by a high fever, cough, runny nose, red or watery eyes, and a rash, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
They're like tiny dots. And like I said, it's pretty often that it's going to start in the head area and then move down the body.
The CDC says the symptoms start to show 1 to 2 weeks after infection. It can be dangerous for babies and young children.
Right now, it's about 94% of our kindergartners are immunized. And then when you get to seventh grade, it's upwards of about 98%. But if you ever see that slip some, then, less immunization is going to lead to more cases.
Measles can be prevented with the MMR vaccination. It comes in 2 doses. The first dose at the age of 12 to 15 months and the second dose at age 4 to 6. Those that have not been vaccinated are urged to get the first dose as soon as possible, as suggested by CDC guidelines.
There's some real outbreaks happening in other countries. I think Yemen had earlier this month, like over 18,000 cases. So they're dealing with it over there, but we're doing well here.
Reports from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention show as of last week, there are a total of 35 measles cases in the country, spread across 15 separate states.
Fortunately, we don't have any cases at all in Texas. The state health department just encourages parents to get their kids vaccinated and immunized against measles. And that really starts, with that discussion with your pediatrician, with your healthcare provider.
Yahweh Bashim Yashar Bashim Kakadash, double honors Apostle Elsgrim Millstone, peace, citation, hopeful elect, Shalom. And let me title this lesson, Measles Outbreak in Michigan. So, according to the articles I ran to, this wasn't like the first report of a measles outbreak. It happened in 2019, the first case of it, and then eventually, now it's skyrocketed more than ever, to this time period in this month. And as you can see, I'll bring out this article. It says in freep.com. The title of the article is Measles Cases Send Michigan Health Authorities Scrambling to Avoid Bigger Outbreak. And it says right here by Kristen Jordan Shamus, Detroit Free Press, published 12:33 p.m. March 5th, 2024, updated at 5:50 p.m. Eastern Time, March 5th, 2024. So it says potentially hundreds of people were exposed to measles in Wayne and Washtenaw counties over the last week, as 2 adults who had traveled internationally and had no record of measles immunization sought care for their symptoms at 2 urgent care centers, a Dearborn pharmacy, and 2 hospital emergency departments, state health officials told me the Free Press. The exposure sparked a race against the clock for county health leaders to stave off an outbreak among unvaccinated people unknowingly exposed to the highly contagious virus when they visited the emergency department triage area at Trinity Health Ann Arbor Hospital, 5301 McAuley Drive, Yespalanti, from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. March 1st. The emergency department at Corwell Health Department Hospital, 18101 Oakwood Boulevard, Dearborn, from 3 to 8 p.m. February 29th. I'm not going to read all that. Just showing the locations of different hospitals. So it says, measles is highly infectious and can be transmittable before the characteristic rash. The initial symptoms can be nondescript and the virus can linger in the air for hours, said Chelsea Wolf, a spokesperson for the state health department. Therefore, crowded and high traffic areas where persons with measles have been can result in a large number of potentially exposed persons. In these cases, places where infected persons sought clinical care. And quote, this is important you don't actually need to share the same airspace with an infected person at the same time, so that risk can be quite hidden and amplified. At left, a measles virus is seen under a microscope at right and a close-up of the skin of a patient after 3 days with a measles rash. If those newly exposed people could be given the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine within 72 hours, or be treated with intravenous immunoglobulin, a pooled antibody, within 6 days of exposure, new measles infections could be prevented, said Dr. Anurag Malani, Director of Hospital Epidemiology, Special Pathogens, and Antimicrobial Stewardship at Trinity Health Ann Harbor Hospital. Working backwards to identify exposures, says we were able to take a pretty detailed look when the affected patient presented how long the patient was in the waiting room, how long they were in triage, and when they got to their room for isolation, Malani said. And based on all those things, we looked at the list of who might have been in the waiting area during that time and who might have been in the ED, emergency department at the time, and then kind of worked backwards. Let me see. So, yeah, pretty much, let's see. Alright. So it says measles can be contagious but asymptomatic for 4 days. Prevention is key. Measles can be dangerous, but that's especially true for unvaccinated children, pregnant women, and as well as people with compromised immune systems, such as these undergoing cancer treatment and people with HIV. A single dose of the vaccine is 93% effective at preventing measles. 2 doses are about 97% effective. About 1 in 5 unvaccinated people with measles is hospitalized, and among children, and 1 in 20 gets pneumonia, which is the common cause of death from measles in young children. Roughly 1 to 30 out of every 1,000 kids who contract measles die from it, according to U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It causes ear infection, diarrhea, pneumonia, and encephalitis, swelling of the brain that can cause convulsions, deafness, or intellectual disability. If there's lots of exposures in lots of places, this isn't going to be the last case that we are going to see. Malani said, especially without widespread vaccination, we're going to see more cases. An infected person can be contagious up to 4 days before the start of symptoms, unknowingly spread the virus. Everywhere they go, the measles is so contagious that 90% of unvaccinated people who are exposed to the virus will become infected, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That's why Wolf and other health leaders are calling on all Michiganders who can get the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine to ensure they have had 2 doses and are fully immunized. And yeah, that's pretty much it on that. But this other article on clickondetroit.com, it says Michigan doctor says this disease is so dangerous it can blind you, destroy your intellect. Michigan reports first measles case since 2019. Published March 4th, 2024, 5 a.m. Updated March 4th, 2024 at 6:24 a.m. by Kyla Clark, senior web producer. So it says a University of Michigan doctor stressed the importance of vaccination and the dangers of measles. Just last month, Michigan reported its first case of measles since 2019 outbreak. On Friday, February 23, 2024, Michigan health officials said that a child in Oakland County has measles. The child's case is believed to be linked to international travel, and officials do not believe anyone outside of the child's home was exposed to the virus. On Sunday, March 3rd, 2024, Wayne County health officials reported the state's second case of measles. The case is linked to international travel in an adult and is not connected to the Oakland County case. Later that day, Washington County reported the state's third case of measles. And it says, let me just get to the most important part. During the 2019 outbreak, there were 46 cases confirmed across the state. Measles is a highly contagious and preventable disease that is caused by a virus. It can spread through direct person contact in the air. The measles virus can live in the air for up to 2 hours. You go blind from this, you can basically destroy someone's intellect. This is a disease that can really damage people's lives, and children who get this are at great risk, Baker said. Health officials said 90% of unvaccinated people who are exposed to the measles will become affected. Measles can cause serious health complications, especially in younger children younger than 5. 1 in 5 people in the U.S. who get measles will need to be hospitalized. The vaccine basically causes lifelong protection. So not only are you protecting your child, but you're protecting the adult that comes from that child. So I think it's a phenomenal vaccine. It's very safe, and alternative measles is a very dangerous disease, Baker said. Symptoms include high fever, may spike to over 104 degrees Fahrenheit, cough, runny nose, red watery eyes, and let me see, 2019 Michigan measles outbreak. In 2019, there were at least 46 confirmed measles cases in Michigan. That year, there were 1224 measles cases across 31 states, according to the CDC. That was the greatest number of cases reported in the U.S. since 1992. Majority of cases were among people who were not vaccinated against measles. To give that number some perspective, were 75 cases in 2018 and 13 cases in 2020. So yeah, so without further ado, I'll bring up some scriptures as well. It makes less edifying. So let's start at Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." So it says all these are beginning of sorrows. So yeah, so that part right there is talking about how pestilences shall pretty much take place. Yeah, we're already in that time where you're starting to see a lot of pestilences are pretty much arising, and you have it to where this devil Esau, he's causing these pestilences on a certain level because he's pushing out his, those jump shots, which you already know he did that during the C-19 pandemic. But I might take this video down because I'm mentioning a little too much medical info. But yeah, it goes to show you right there that anyway, it's like the Most High is already pretty much doing it on the left hand side. He's already allowing shit to happen, and he's the one that's ultimately causing these pestilences to arise. And for a reason why pestilences are arising at such a exponential, sporadic rate is because people they pretty much they have a bad diet. They not only take those jump shots, but these people, they're also living in an unhealthy lifestyle. There's just so many factors that leads to the reason why these people end up getting sick like that. This devil also poisoning the air, the food, and the water. That also plays a lot of contributing factors to the reason why these people get sick the way they do. He pushes toxins, chemicals in the food, in the air, and the water. So it's no matter what, we're just always bound to be getting sick some way, somehow. And let me bring out 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 49. It says, "I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is set over thee. Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and the lovers shall not be able to receive thee." So yeah. So this is what the Most High, promised, that this is what he would do to this country, America. He's already sending pestilences, at such a small level, and the Lord has just pretty much begun. So this may lead to maybe another second lockdown. And you already know when they said with the lockdown is that the second one, they mentioned that it will get, the public's attention. And these people are not ready for that. They were hardly ready for the first one. And it was so hard for them to adjust to the first one. They wanted things to go back to normal. And yeah, and it's like through the spirit, us brothers in this truth, we expect like more of these things to happen because it's already been prophesied. When it's coming to these people in this world, it's like they don't expect shit like this to happen. They expect this country to continue to do good and better. But they don't know, little do they realize that this country is on its way to destruction. And before the Lord fully destroys it with those nukes, he's going to make it, be destroyed in different ways, such as like causing the famine, like you mentioned in previous scriptures. Anarchy, basically, within anarchy is basically societal wars, race wars, basically a civil war, a societal war, if you will. And then on top of it, famines, all type of natural disasters, and even spirits created for vengeance, taking action in on the destruction. So this is Psalm chapter 10. I'm gonna start at verse 4. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all of his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the boar. He doth catch the boar when he draweth him into the net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong one. He hath said in his heart, Yahweh forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. So, one thing about Esau is that, scriptures also mention somewhere around Psalms 50, if I'm not mistaken, probably the 55th chapter. But it mentions about how, like, his words are smoother than butter and softer than oil, and yet they were drawn swords. So it's like, he's going to sound like he's going to be helping you, but at the same time, it's like, he's going to be trying to find a way to overthrow you. In that sense, he would try to say that, the jump shot is 90% effective, 96% effective, whatever the case is. But he mentioned that it was effective over 90-something% in the article. And he also mentioned that how people that are unvaccinated are more likely to get, whatever infection, whatever disease that he listed. And that's a damn lie. So you already know that he has ill intentions and towards those that get it, even amongst his own people. Because you see, one thing about Esau is that he's so wicked that he experiments on his own people. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't even give a fuck about his own at this point. And that's the real sad thing about Esau. It goes to show you how petty and heartless he is. The fact that you a devil to your own, like, that just shows you that, you're just super wicked. That's just the ultimate wicked right there. You being wicked to your own people. Because all they care about is those that's on the top, like they are, like the banking family members. They only care about each other, and then those that's on their level, they're not caring about the other Edomites on the bottom. And one thing about this devil is that he gonna humble himself and seem like, he's a good person to try to help you to get something in your body that is pretty much like foreign chemicals and foreign substances in your body. And that's what happened during the C-19, and that's why people, half of their faces were frozen. They had all type of slime in their system coming out their nose. It was just all type of crazy shit that happened. And it's like he wants to do it again. In this case, it's with the measles. And for some reason, I've been seeing, like, each month they claim that there was always a new strain, a new variant of, of COVID. And it's crazy because it's like, in this time, I feel like with that second lockdown, it might be just longer than the first one. And not only that, it's just, Esau, he gonna be making a lot of moves because he trying to milk everything he can out of the pandemic. Because, there's a reason why people that are considered to be, like they expose the information, about what Esau does, but they don't have the same truth as brothers do in the truth. So it's like they, they will call it a pandemic. And to be honest, they're right in that sense, because what Esau does is like he has a lot of schemes, during the times of, let's say, disasters and catastrophic situations. Esau finds a way to have people to trust him, but at the same time, he shows that he's a devil, but then it's like he don't want you to notice the type of person he is, so he hides it from you. You know what I mean? And they say the worst enemy is the one that doesn't show you the type of enemy he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically a deceitful enemy. That's exactly what Esau is. That's why even when he came out as Esau, as Isaac's son, he was considered to be a cunning hunter, and that's his origin. And he still displays that type of characteristic. Yeah, so the scriptures talk about the devil is a raw lion seeking whom he may devour. That's not really only talking about the spiritual demon Satan, but that's also talking about our physical adversary, who's the physical counterpart of spiritual demon Satan, which is Esau. So, and he is the adversary of the nation of Israel, which are you so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans. So, with that, pretty much made the lesson clear. So, just straight to the point, and I'd like to give all glory, praise, honor to Adonai, Yahweh, Bashem, Shamalaki, Yahushua, Bashem, Kakadash, Tabanas, Apostle, Elsbeth, Millstone, Bizat, Teacher, Overlap, Shalom.